Welcome back, collectors and treasure hunters. Today we dive into one of the most unexpectedly powerful relics of American pocket history. The top four most valuable and most expensive Lincoln the Memorial 1 cent and Memorial 1 cent wheat penny. A tiny copper witness that has marched through 6 decades of real life, survived the changing hands of a nation, and returned today as a prized treasure in the world of numismatics. Whether found in raw, dirt-aged, story-scarred condition or as a blazing, uncirculated gem locked in a certified holder, this coin continues to command respect, desire, and serious market value. Stay with me, because what looks like a simple penny is in fact a time-sealed artifact with financial teeth, historic backbone, and unstoppable collector demand. Let's get started. First up in the 1964, D. Lincoln Memorial 1 cent stands as a captivating piece of American small-denomination history that still commands attention among collectors and historians alike. Even though it originated as a simple circulation coin, it has transformed over the decades into a cherished and intensely studied relic, especially when discovered in heavily aged, long-circulated, and deeply time-worn condition that tells the story of 60 years of human movement. Enthusiasts regard it as a prized treasure not merely for its physical presence, but for the invisible historical current embedded in every pore, scratch, dent, and chain-like toning on its copper surface. It continues to fascinate collectors worldwide as a tangible remnant of mid-century America. Struck in the Denver Mint in 1964 at the height of economic and social rebuild after the Kennedy era, this Lincoln cent represents a pre-transition phase in U.S. coinage before major compositional and commemorative shifts swept over the mint. It belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series launched in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin carries symbolic patriotic weight as it circulated through decades of political transformation, industrial expansion, and cultural realignment. Collectors treat it as a living artifact, a small witness to the American narrative of the 1 cent. The obverse showcases the beloved bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, radiating a solemn authority that has captivated coinage observers for over a century. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial, a powerful architectural tribute in Washington, D.C., symbolizing unity, endurance, and national continuity. Struck in 95% copper with a small D mint mark positioned beneath the date, the piece retains a dignified and instantly recognizable profile. Even in heavily dirt-coated, oxidized, or chain-toned surfaces, the iconic imagery still pushes through, projecting visual character and historic personality. While traditional grading favors bright, clean, crisp surfaces, an alternative group of collectors is increasingly drawn toward coins that show extreme age, original dirt entrapment, transit wear, and deep circulation scars because such pieces feel alive with history. A 1964 D. Lincoln cent that has passed through decades of hands, pockets, and commerce becomes visually narrative. Every abrasion becomes a micro-timeline. Its oldness acts as a documentary record of time, making it spiritually potent in the eyes of enthusiasts who value history beyond luster. The 1964 D itself is not rare in absolute numbers, with hundreds of millions minted. Specific subcategories such as high-grade survivors, double die strikes, strong mint-state full red examples, and highly dramatic die cracks are genuinely sought after. Meanwhile, extreme condition contrast, either perfect uncirculated or dramatically aged yet intact varieties, creates artificial rarity inside the population. The hunt for premium examples continues to energize the marketplace. In today's inflamed and active numismatic market, serious money follows condition, eye appeal, and variety. A sharply preserved, uncirculated, certified 1964 D with a rare variety can realistically command between $1,000 to $8,000 depending on die designation, strike clarity, and grade class. Meanwhile, extremely worn, dirty, and deeply circulated pieces are normally worth face value. Yet certain collectors still pay premiums for visually dramatic examples that possess exceptional toning patterns, retained structures, or die states that elevate them above normal attrition. The coin's appeal persists because it combines 3 fundamental elements: historical anchoring, design legacy, and broad accessibility. Even new collectors begin with Lincoln cents, and eventually some graduate to high-grade or exotic 1964 D specimens. Veteran collectors, meanwhile, chase certifications, strong errors, and unconventional surfaces. This dual-tier appeal generates a constant demand cycle that keeps the coin relevant instead of forgotten. Enthusiasts seeking investment-grade examples focus on slabbed, mint red, or error-designated pieces from respected grading agencies. Storage in airtight holders prevents future tone migration. For those drawn to aged or powerfully dirty examples, visual story presence is the target, but still, structural integrity and clear legends matter. Purchasing from reputable auction houses or established dealers protects authenticity and maximizes acquisition confidence. Beyond monetary worth, this coin functions as tactile heritage, a copper witness to civic life, labor economy, war funding shifts, and generational exchange. A hand-to-hand object spanning 60 years of circulation becomes spiritually weighted, making it feel like a compressed timeline of American living. Collectors of such pieces speak of connection, continuity, and memory more than metal point. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent is the psychological pull it exerts on collectors who are drawn to objects that simultaneously feel ordinary and extraordinary. The coin began as the most common pocket change denominator of its era, circulating through grocery counters, military pay, factory wages, bus fares, and children's allowances. Yet today, when that same cent survives with its vintage copper sole intact, either frozen in mint brilliance or fossilized in dirt and age, it becomes paradoxically precious. The transformation from disposable currency to revered historical microartifact gives it a magnetic presence that inspires pursuit, discussion, and preservation. The 1964 D cent maintains a dependable upward trajectory not because of artificial hype, but because the supply of high-grade or special state examples is shrinking while collector participation keeps rising. Every year, more coins are damaged, lost, corroded, or improperly cleaned, tightening the pool of desirable survivors. Meanwhile, auction data shows that serious buyers are willing to pay premium figures for certified MS Red specimens or rare error class examples. This compounding scarcity against expanding demand creates a predictable long-horizon advantage, making the coin not just sentimental history, but a rational, slow-burn numismatic investment. The 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial 1 cent endures as a staple of American coin collecting culture because it bridges accessibility and depth better than nearly any modern small-denomination coin. It offers an entry point for beginners, a research territory for specialists, a nostalgia capsule for historians, and a legitimate value vehicle for investors. Whether coated in decades of grime or captured in pristine, glowing copper brilliance inside a sonically sealed slab, it delivers the same triumvirate numismatists crave: a tangible past, a worthy present, and a defensible future. That triple value legacy is why the 1964 D cent remains permanently anchored in the canon of prized United States coinage. The 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial 1 cent stands as more than an everyday coin. It is a compact vessel of mid-century American identity that continues to captivate enthusiasts and command respect in the numismatic arena. Whether discovered as a crusted, time-scarred relic or as a blazing, uncirculated gem in a certified holder, it merges history, art, and scarcity into one enduring collectible. Its ongoing appeal and proven market resilience ensure that it remains a prized treasure and a rewarding pursuit for collectors worldwide. Next up in the 1963 D. Lincoln Memorial 1 cent stands as one of the most discussed copper-era issues among collectors. A coin that continues to captivate enthusiasts with its blend of historical nostalgia, iconic portraiture, and enduring market demand. Although millions were minted, the top-tier survivors, those preserved in stunning near-uncirculated states or with dramatic varieties, now sit in a class of their own, viewed as powerful relics of pre-zinc American coinage. Collectors are drawn not only to its compositional purity and age, but to its symbolic role as a transitional copper cent from an era before alloy changes and design revolutions reshaped U.S. coinage. Minted at the Denver Mint in the final chapter before the assassination of President John F. Kennedy and at the dawn of social upheavals in American history, the 1963 D cent acts like a copper time capsule pressed from an increasingly distant world. It represents the last full year before dramatic national events redefined the cultural mood of America. The Lincoln cent already held decades of success by then, but the 1963 D issue marks a final calm before the storm, a preserved witness to a quieter pre-1964 monetary and political reality. On the obverse, the famous bust of Abraham Lincoln appears with sharp classical lines, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VB are subtly anchored below the shoulder. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo, a powerful architectural symbol mirroring permanence and government strength. Struck in a full copper alloy of 95% copper and 5% tin zinc, the coin measures 19.05 millimeters and weighs 3.11 grams. Its deep metallic warmth and density offering a physical dignity now absent in modern plated cents. The presence of the D mint mark beneath the date elevates the Denver-struck issue into its own tracking category among specialists. While standard examples are common, certain double-die obverse and reverse varieties, repunched mint marks, and full-strike specimens with booming luster alter the coin's numismatic trajectory entirely. These die anomaly survivors are aggressively sought because they are not only scarcer but visually dramatic, creating instant psychological attraction in collectors who chase variety-based rarity. Although hundreds of millions rolled out of Denver presses, true rarity surfaces not in mintage totals, but in condition, die anomalies, and untouched preservation. Nearly every 1963 D entered pocket-to-pocket mechanical abrasion, becoming dirty, worn, and lifeless, making pristine razor detail, fresh lustrous examples extremely hard to locate today. This scarcity of immaculate survivors drives the premium. The gap between common circulated pieces and elite high-grade coins is extraordinarily wide. Collectors pay almost nothing for dirty, heavily handled, stained, or scratched 1963 D cents. But once a specimen breaks into high mint state certification levels, such as MS-65, MS-66, or MS-67 with red designation, the market wakes up with powerful financial force. These superior fresh coins radiate sharply cut rims, blazing original redness, and full legend clarity that separate them from the sea of tarnished ordinary cents. In this upper tier lies the true monetary prize. In the current numismatic climate, an exceptional 1963 D Lincoln cent with elite grade, strong luster, and certified designation can range realistically from $1,000 to $8,000 depending on its strike color designation, RD, RB, BN, die variety status, and registry appeal. Auction houses have recorded aggressive competition for the few finest known survivors because collectors drive hard wars over top population coins. Price is not determined by age alone, but by superior survival against probability. They target authenticated, slabbed examples from PCGS or NGC with documented grade and die attributes, insulating themselves from risk and counterfeits. Avoiding raw coins of uncertain grade, they search for full original red luster, clean fields, and die varieties that elevate perceived rarity. They store these copper survivors in climate-controlled holders, shield them from oxygen and hand oils, and treat them as both historical artifacts and financial instruments. The 1963 D. Lincoln Memorial cent holds emotional gravity as a tangible fragment of American continuity. A coin struck in the lifetime of citizens still alive today, bridging generations through physical permanence. It functions as a silent witness to everything that has changed since it left the dies: politics, technology, and currency composition. Its copper body is not just metal. It is anchored memory materialized in mass, yet preserved in few. A major reason the finest known 1963 D cents command aggressive premiums is psychological prestige. The emotional power of holding a coin that statistically should not still exist in immaculate form after 6 decades. Collectors know that the vast majority of this date lived hard lives in pockets, drawers, parking meters, and grimy environments. Thus, when a blazing gem specimen appears, it feels like a defiance of entropy, a survival miracle. This emotional rarity, distinct from mathematical rarity, amplifies bidding intensity because buyers are not just purchasing metal and grade. They are purchasing the right to say, "I own the best surviving proof of what almost entirely disappeared." In the modern era of competitive registry collecting, certification has transformed static coins into ranked assets. PCGS and NGC registries allow collectors to compete publicly for finest sets, meaning that a top-pop 1963 D cent is no longer a passive collectible. It is a strategic score in a public leaderboard war. Two wealthy registry builders could push a coin's price beyond rational expectation simply to secure or defend ranking dominance. This artificial scarcity by competition has consistently lifted upper-tier Lincoln Memorial cents into 4-figure territory and sustains the upward price pressure year after year. The 1963 D cent also enjoys structural protection as an investment because it sits within the copper era, a category that has already completed its historical arc. There will never again be a return to full copper cents. That chapter is closed. As time stretches further from the 1960s, nostalgia, scarcity of pristine survivors, and the gradual loss of unprotected specimens to oxidation continue to reduce supply while increasing reverence. Therefore, the coins market is not speculative hype, but slow, pressure-built appreciation. A textbook example of a low-risk, long-horizon numismatic asset backed by both sentiment and scarcity. The 1963 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent stands as a powerful collision of history, metallurgy, preservation, competition, and collector psychology. A coin ordinary in birth, but extraordinary in survival. Its highest grade examples are no longer just pennies, but cultural heirlooms of copper locked in time, serving as bridges between past and present. For collectors who recognize both the historical and financial logic, this coin represents an elegant acquisition. Affordable in low grade for study, elite in rare grade for prestige, and permanently anchored in the narrative of American numismatics as a tangible and appreciating legacy worth securing before the remaining superior survivors are locked forever in private vaults. The 1963 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent, in its highest and rarest form, stands as a prized treasure, a coin where artistry, historical proximity, conditional rarity, and enduring collector appetite converge into lasting market value. Though common in worn, dirty, circulated states, the elite survivors define the financial narrative, and it is those protected, radiant, and sharply struck specimens that transform this seemingly simple cent into a powerful, competitive, and rewarding acquisition within the global coin market. Next up to in the 1939 no-mint mark, United States Lincoln Wheat penny stands as one of the most fascinating and sought-after survivors in early 20th century numismatics, captivating enthusiasts for its undeniable charm, powerful historical connection, and continuing appeal in today's active coin market. Even coins found in very dirty, worn, and heavily damaged condition still represent a tangible link to the pre-World War II era, while higher-end examples command tremendous admiration among seasoned collectors. This coin is far more than an old cent. It is a prized treasure that continues to rise in desirability, especially when found with dramatic errors or rare high-grade states. Its presence in any collection delivers the compelling satisfaction of holding American monetary history in one's hand. Minted in the year 1939 at the Philadelphia Mint, therefore bearing no mint mark, this Lincoln Wheat cent emerged during a fragile moment in American life, between the tail end of the Great Depression and the looming shadows of the Second World War. The coin belongs to the long-running Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1939, the wheat reverse design was already iconic, symbolizing national resilience and everyday economic survival in an era defined by rationing, rebuilding, and industrial mobilization. As a circulating workhorse of the era, it stands as a living artifact of the American economic story just before global conflict reshaped the world. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's celebrated bust of President Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1939, notably without any mint mark beneath it, indicating Philadelphia origin. The reverse bears the mourned and beloved twin wheat stalks framing, 1 cent, and United States of America, with E pluribus unum arching above. Struck in the classic bronze composition of 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, the coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters and an approximate weight of 3.11 grams. In pristine, uncirculated states, the reflective surfaces, strong details of Lincoln's coat, and the crisp wheat lines deliver striking visual appeal that has made the design immortal. Although the Philadelphia Mint produced a sizable mintage of the 1939 cent, true rarity emerges in the surviving premium-grade examples and notable striking varieties. While heavily circulated, dirty, and damaged examples remain common as relics of everyday commerce, sharply struck specimens with original luster are dramatically more elusive. Certain die errors, including repunched mint mark style doubling on lettering, die cracks, and off-center strikes, can shift a once ordinary cent into a final stage rarity of intense desirability. Collectors know that, as time thins the supply of high-end examples, Even modest appearances of strong grade survivors generate fierce competition. In the current coin market climate, with increased enthusiasm for pre-war U.S. copper, the most valuable and spectacular examples of the 1939 no-mint wheat penny, especially in uncirculated, high-grade, or rare error conditions, can achieve prices ranging realistically from $1,000 to $8,000 at major auctions or authenticated private sales. That premium is powered by the coin's age, artistic prestige, historical importance, and mounting difficulty in locating untouched survivors. By contrast, a very dirty or heavily damaged 1939 no-mint penny generally trades only for a few cents to a few dollars as a nostalgic artifact, illustrating sharply how condition, rarity, and certification determine all real value. For collectors seeking to secure a superior specimen, expert strategy is essential. Prioritize certified and graded coins from well-known services, study known varieties to identify high-premium errors, and source purchases through respected auction avenues or reputable dealers with firm return policies. Proper handling is vital. Copper is reactive and fingerprints and moisture can destroy value. So protective holders, dry environments, and minimal contact are musts. Engagement with numismatic forums, show circuits, and published auction archives further strengthens market intuition and timing, ensuring that each acquisition is both educated and defensible. The 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny has demonstrated quiet but steady appreciation over decades, especially in higher certified grades and confirmed rare error variants. Unlike modern speculative issues, this coin benefits from an already completed lifespan. No new survivors are entering circulation, meaning available supply will only decrease as time and environmental corrosion claim more of the remaining copper. Serious investors value this finite nature, combined with its pre-war origin, as a stabilizing factor that supports long-term price strength. While not all specimens are lucrative, those preserved at the top of the grading ladder are increasingly treated as cultural assets rather than merely collectible currency. When compared to later wheat cents struck in the 1940s and 1950s, the 1939 issue enjoys an elevated tier in desirability because of its intra-war positioning and lower certified survival numbers at the highest grades. It occupies a historical slot between the Great Depression issues of the early 1930s and the steel-cent emergency coinage of 1943, giving it a narrative and chronological identity that later, more plentiful dates lack. Collectors often pursue it as a bridge date to complete premium sets, knowing that missing this year prevents a sense of chronological completion. Among the pre-war years, 1939 also stands out for its error potential and strong market awareness, driving competition that lifts its prestige. The 1939 no-mint mark wheat penny remains a compelling chapter of American numismatic heritage. Even when encountered in very dirty, battered, and damaged condition, it still radiates the emotional force of an object that passed through the hands of Americans on the edge of world change. But in its finest preserved or error-driven incarnations, it rises into the realm of a truly premium collectible, a coin capable of commanding thousands and earning admiration from serious collectors. It is at once an artifact, an artwork, and a wealth holder, a powerful connector between monetary history and modern passion, and for that reason alone, it remains a permanent and deserved fixture in high-caliber coin collections around the world. The enduring appeal of the 1939 no-mint wheat penny flows from its perfect fusion of narrative magnetism, undeniable beauty in preserved states, and the thrilling possibility of hidden rarities embedded within a familiar face-value design. It captures the imagination because it is both approachable to beginners and deeply competitive at the elite tier, offering a full spectrum of collecting pleasure. Those who hold even the most humble battered survivor know that they own a physical echo of pre-war America. Those who chase or possess the finest preserved forms understand they are curators of a treasure once handled by generations now gone. That the 1939 no-mint Lincoln wheat penny endures as a compelling and highly valued chapter in U.S. coinage, a coin that blends history, artistry, and rarity into a single copper disc that continues to captivate and reward collectors worldwide. Whether found in very dirty, damaged condition as a relic of circulation or as a breathtaking near-perfect survivor commanding auction-level figures, it remains a prized treasure and a powerful reminder of America's economic journey. For every numismatist eager to build a collection of lasting depth and meaning, this coin stands as a tangible and deeply satisfying connection to the past, one worthy of pursuit and preservation. Next up to in the 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny stands today as a fascinating and deeply admired relic of America's mid-war era coinage, even when seen in heavily dirt-covered, battered, or age-scarred condition. Among numismatists, this date is celebrated not merely as another 1-cent coin, but as a survival from a turbulent decade whose copper witnesses history directly in metal. For those who chase the costliest known examples, the 1942 Philadelphia-struck wheat cent represents an irresistible intersection of nostalgia, scarcity at the top grade levels, and intense collector demand. Its reputation as a prized treasure persists because even worn survivors remind collectors that the finest 1942 examples have sold for thousands, making it a sleeper date whose very best members are aggressively pursued. The 1942 wheat cent was issued just before the U.S. Mint shifted copper compositions for wartime needs, and that alone gives this coin deep historical weight. Minted at the Philadelphia facility without a mint mark, these coins circulated in an era shadowed by global conflict, rationing, and the mounting pressure that would soon force steel cents into production by 1943. Holding any 1942 wheat penny, no matter how dirty or battle-worn, is to hold direct wartime America in hand, a tangible connection to a United States standing on the edge of a resource-driven numismatic changeover. That narrative is part of why wealthy collectors still chase premium certified survivors from this exact date. The 1942 no-mint mark wheat penny retains Victor David Brenner's enduring profile of Abraham Lincoln, perhaps the most iconic visage ever used on U.S. small coinage. The reverse carries the two wheat ears gracefully curving around the legend, 1 cent, an agricultural emblem of pre-war domestic strength. Struck in the classic 95% copper alloy at 19.05 millimeters and weighing 3.11 grams, its warm brown to red color in pristine condition is what gives high-grade pieces their hypnotic visual appeal, particularly when the full original mint luster remains unbroken and unstained by circulation. That is the visual miracle that the most expensive specimens represent. While the 1942 no-mint mark wheat cent had a large mintage, true scarcity emerges at the very top of the grading scale, where immaculate, untouched, fully lustrous survivors have become intensely coveted. Heavily dirty, corroded, and damaged examples are extremely common, but the exact same date, preserved in blazing red RD, mint state, free of spots and abrasions, immediately crosses into a completely different rarity category. Numismatic markets reward condition more than age, and that is precisely why pristine examples of this common date produce shockingly strong bidding competition when they surface. The very finest climb into the $1,000 tier. Ordinary circulated and damaged 1942 Philadelphia wheat pennies are worth only cents, maybe a minor premium to a beginner. But the most expensive and desirable specimens, certified in high mint state red or bearing notable era varieties, have reached serious price levels in auctions and private offerings. Depending on grade, luster, and variety attribution, top-tier examples may range plausibly from $1,000 to $8,000 when pedigree condition and visual perfection align. That price power is driven not by intrinsic metal, but by scarcity at the elite grade tier, the historic pre-steel cent timing, and persistent collector enthusiasm. Collectors secure the best of this date. Serious collectors who chase true value in this date know that certification is essential. Raw coins with alleged condition or varieties must be confirmed by reputable services, Peace GS and GC. Those building investment-grade wheat sets prioritize red designation and minimal carbon spotting, while variety hunters inspect for off-center strikes, doubled dies, and unusual die fatigue. Acquisition should be made from trusted auction houses or vetted dealers, and long-term preservation demands non-PVC holders, stable humidity, and zero skin oil contact, because a single print can destroy thousands of dollars of potential. Although the standard 1942 Philadelphia wheat penny is widely known, its premium tier excitement often comes from scarce recording-era anomalies such as doubled dies, major off-centers, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and horizontal die cracks across Lincoln's forehead or the wheat ears. These mechanical accidents elevate what would otherwise be a modest copper relic into a numismatic conversation piece that sells into the thousands when certified in mint state. Collectors of errors appreciate that such mistakes are not reproducible. Once discovered, every known specimen is all that will ever exist, and this natural ceiling of supply is exactly why legitimate 1942 error cents keep captivating enthusiasts in competitive bidding rooms. One of the most powerful aspects of the 1942 no-mint mark wheat pennies collector psychology is the relatability effect. Even someone holding a filthy, scarred, soil-stained pocket knows they possess the exact same date and type as elite specimens that have crossed the $5,000 and even $8,000 barrier. This creates a subtle but enduring magnetism. It makes new collectors feel connected to high-end numismatics without an immediate financial leap. That emotional bridge is one of the reasons this date refuses to fade. The existence of extreme top-end results keeps even rough survivors psychologically relevant, fueling long-term hobby interest and market oxygen. From an investment standpoint, the strongest argument for the 1942 wheat penny, especially at the certified mint state red elite, is that the supply of top-end pieces is permanently frozen while demand has proven multi-generational. Every decade sees new wealth entering the hobby, but no new flawless 1942s are being made, and old uncirculated hoards are largely exhausted. That imbalance, coupled with the coin's wartime-era narrative and its role as the last normal copper before the steel experiment, positions the highest-grade survivors as long-run compounding assets in a market that rewards nostalgia, finite condition rarity, and pedigree documentation. The 1942 wheat penny endures in demand because it is both historically anchored and visually classical, offering collectors the romantic appeal of pre-war copper while simultaneously serving as a gateway into high-grade numismatic strategy. Even those who own only beat-up, dirty examples know they are holding the exact same date as coins worth thousands, a psychological pull that quietly fuels pursuit. Its steady appreciation trajectory is supported by the fact that true mint state red survivors are not being created anymore. What survives now defines the future price baseline. The 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is more than a copper disc from the past. It is a living witness to America on the brink of wartime transformation, locked inside a beloved and timeless coin design. Though very dirty or damaged examples carry little monetary premium, the finest certified survivors transform into undeniable trophies of condition rarity, commanding prices in the $1,000 class and anchoring advanced wheat cent collections worldwide. For collectors seeking a blend of narrative power, aesthetic legacy, and proven investment logic, this wartime wheat cent remains a profoundly rewarding pursuit.